Today, it is expected of mothers to be able to capture pictures of their offspring whenever they want. The smartphone camera is constantly within reach, making it simple to capture every cute, mischievous look that crosses a child's face. Of course, this is a more recent phenomenon in motherhood. Instead, think about the mothers who remained unnoticed in the 19th century photography portrait studios, when extended exposure times required mothers to discover a technique to both keep their children still long enough to be seen and blend in with the surroundings. Portrait studios sometimes hired ladies who would assist the young subjects in remaining stationary while attempting to blend in, because 30-second exposure periods and wiggling youngsters don't mix very well. The resulting photographs feature children floating uncannily among textiles that conceal a human form, phantom limbs that have no biological connection, and moms hiding their faces behind oddly positioned drapes or even directly behind their infants. Mothers were honing selflessness about 200 years before the selfie. We have all seen portraits of very young children posed on tousled blankets and propped up comfortably among decorative pillows. It is an aesthetic choice that has its roots in a Victorian necessity. In the early days of photography, long exposure times meant that somebody needed to hold squirmy children still, and the attractively draped textiles and cushions on which they sat or lay conveniently covered the secure arms and familiar laps of the children's mothers. These hidden mothers are easy to miss in pictures, yet, as soon as you spot them, it becomes impossible to unsee the head and shoulders, knees and legs of the adults beneath the brocade. And once you can no longer ignore her, you cannot believe you ever did not register that, of course, the infants are ensconced on their mother's lap. Surprisingly, many people had these images. The first substantial public presentation of these photographs, The Hidden Mother by Linda Fregney Nadler, was presented at the 2013 Venice Biennale and featured almost 1,000 images, the majority of which were shot in studios across Europe. The song Hidden Mother, 2017, by Laura Larson, a lyric meditation on being an adoptive mother, was played after it. It was motivated by a number of American private photo collections. Together, the two pieces sparked a flurry of internet commentary, which centered mostly on our readiness to raise an eyebrow at the peculiarities of the past. What an odd custom it was to cover a mother's head with a piece of tapestry to keep her out of view of the camera. In light of the necessity to maintain the integrity of the mother should be depicted in the image, but the child fails to clearly explain why she must be smothered by a rug or made to hide behind a curtain. These images make the obligations put on Victorian women literal, that they should be visibly embodied, laboring, helpful beings, holding, cleaning, and dressing, and then put an end to that labor for a great photo opportunity. Erasing her is a deliberate move since the observer must decide to interpret this mother as being hidden. According to conventional knowledge, these images were intended to be framed behind a cutout mat in order to reveal the infant in the center while hiding the adult in the margins. Her hat, bosom, and lap would have initially been concealed by the overlay's periphery, but if one looks closely, they may be seen as a faint, perfect oval where a now-lost mat generated differential fading on the image. Nevertheless, a lot of these images weren't matted, and the more one examines them, the more absurd it appears to label these as hidden motherhood images. They do a terrible job of hiding when they try. It is possible to view caps, hairstyles, skirt hems, knees, and elbows. Some of the women are hunched over chairs that hardly hide them, or they are dressed in clothing that accentuates their supporting arms. Jutting chins or noses give away human profiles when covered in too thin a material to hide them. The bleakest form features shadowy beings wrapped like mummies in thick fabric that loom behind the youngster. The idea that a half-hidden mother was necessarily required to keep little children motionless is refuted by the abundance of images from the same time period showing children with beaming mothers as well as youngsters alone. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel.